Good evening. My name is James Ransom Reed Jr., and I'm the host of What's Your Story? My guest tonight is Jennifer Valentine. We take part one of her interview, a person in search of their niche. Many of you watching out there this evening probably can identify with growing up in a world trying to find where you fit in and finally finding it or expanding it or choosing it or losing it. As we grow, we change. We're not the same person we were yesterday. That is a true testament to the fact that we develop. That's what change is all about. The second part of this interview will tell you, through her own words, how she found what she did and the magnificent things she just recently accomplished for the very first time. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, now we got part one in the books. Let's go with part two. Let's start with you and your married life and your kids. You're married, right?
I'm married.
How many years?
This year will be 22.
All right, and the husband's name?
Anthony.
Anthony, got a shout out for you. The children?
Connor is 17 and Alyssa is almost 14.
Connor, Alyssa, boom, there's your mom. All right, talk about how you met your husband. How did that happen? A farm girl from way up in the boonies. What happened?
Yeah. He is from Darien, Connecticut.
Darien, Connecticut.
Yep.
All right.
And he was a minor league baseball player for the Mets. And then he was a bullpen catcher for the Mets major league team.
Yeah.
And I was not a part of any of that. He had just stopped doing that when I met him.
Isn't there a Valentine connection there? Valentine, Bobby?
Bobby Valentine. Yeah. He's my husband's uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Bobby Valentine, who managed the Mets.
Yes.
Yes, he did. All right. Okay. Go on.
Yeah. So I moved in with my college roommate, Emily, to Stamford, Connecticut. And that was in 2000, I think 2000. Yeah, 2000. And she and I would go take the train into the city and do auditions and classes and,
yes.
maybe a part or two. And then I, of course, being an actress, I was also a waitress and a bartender. And I worked at a few different places in Connecticut and was just ready to say, okay, that's it. It's now or never. I'm just going to move into New York City, forget everything. And
wow, throw fate to the wind.
Oh, that's me. But then I looked at my bank account and
a healthy reality set in.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, fine. One more restaurant. So I walked into Bobby Valentine's Sports Gallery and Cafe in Stamford, Connecticut. And I was hired and I trained there a couple of nights with the manager, Frank Rampin. And then one night I come in for training and he said, I got to go. I got to do something with my family. Anthony's going to train you tonight. And I was like, who's Anthony? He's like, oh, Anthony Valentine. I'm like, Anthony Valentine? Who's he? He's like, oh, you'll meet him. And he comes around the corner and he was like, there he is. And I'm telling you, it was love at first sight. It was, there was chemistry. It was magnetic. Yeah.
Whoa.
That being said, he was dating 3 other girls at the time, so it took a while. But for me, he's a wonderful man. He now works for Hood. He's the director of, I might get his title wrong, but basically he's the sales director for the Northeast. I hope I got that right.
Okay.
And he loves his job.
All right.
Yeah. He was a coach for a long time for our son. And before that, right after we got married, he had a job at Merrimack College in North Andover as an assistant baseball coach. And then he got a job in Maine, of all places. So we moved back to Maine and we lived in Gorham, Maine, and that's where we had our 2 children.
Okay.
Connor and Alyssa. And I was thinking we were going to stay there. And then he was working with Pepsi at that time. And Pepsi moved us, guess where? Connecticut. So we just kept. And that was almost 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. So he has had a couple of different jobs with different companies that have all been exactly what he's needed to get where he's at now with Hood. Like we talk about this stuff a lot. I'm definitely not the only one who needs to go where they need to go in order to find out where to go next. There's just experience that comes from doing and being, and that you can't get staying in one place or from one company sometimes, or from one teacher, or, and he's that kind of guy. And though he's, a little part of him says, gee, I wish I found Hood years ago, and, I could have that longevity behind me. And most of him says, no, you know what? I'm really proud of my journey and the path it took me to get here, because I wouldn't have learned this that I apply now, or that I apply now, or that person that took me to this, because his connection, he was very qualified for this, to work for Hood, but his sort of like connection was when he worked for Pepsi, and they had just moved to Connecticut. He was a key account manager for Big Y, and they used to take their key account managers and spouses on these fabulous trips. And he met the man who eventually interviewed and hired him for Hood on these trips.
Oh boy!
So
if you're not out there, you don't get it.
That's it. So it was great.
Got 2 children.
Got 2 children.
All right, which one is more like you?
In different ways, they both have pieces of me. Personality-wise, it's Connor. He's very outward, and although because he's a teenage boy, he likes to not let people know that. He's, he does his thing and he keeps his head down. He's kind of quiet, but when he's, with his friends, or he's letting loose, or he's playing baseball, or he's fishing, or, golfing, doing the things that he loves, he's the funny one. He really is, and he keeps us in stitches. And then Alyssa, she's great. She's quiet, but she's very observant. Very observant. And
still waters run deep.
Oh, goodness, yes. They both have beautiful voices.
They do?
Oh, my gosh, yes. And I love my husband, but they did not get that from him. I can tell you that. That's me.
That's me.
And, yeah. But Alyssa and I, we share like the girly things together. It's very fun. I'm so happy I got the 2 of them. I wouldn't trade it. They're really not a lot alike, but they get along in their own way. I really do think that once they're adults, they'll be friends, and so yeah.
You said to me when I talked to you initially that you didn't feel that you fit in quite anywhere. So we're getting to the hub of the niche about yourself. And like you just said, I learned by going where I have to go.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And when did you become aware of the fact that you didn't quite fit in? When did that happen to you?
I think I told you the story. I believe I was in 1st grade, and the teacher read us a book about the stork.
Okay.
And it was really the first time I had ever really heard about the stork. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, that's what happened. The stork dropped me in the wrong family. My family is in like New York or California or somewhere else. And you know what? I love my mom and dad. I love my family. I think they'll understand. I think it's time we go look for my family. I just always felt that way. They did the best they could, but it was a very, very, very small town. I mean, I'm sure that they enjoyed me. I know they did. I don't know if they thought, oh, this will pass, and she'll find something serious as she gets older.
Yes.
And follow that, and of course, make a living.
Yes.
I think they probably thought that because that's what people would think. But I tried my best all the time to be like, no, but seriously, I need to go and be. And I remember 6th grade, actually, the chorus teacher, called us up to the piano one by one to do the scales and, things. And I don't have this anymore. But at that point, I had perfect pitch.
Yes.
And I didn't know what that meant, but I thought it was probably bad because she was crying. Not in like, oh, that's so beautiful kind of way. Like, I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, you have perfect pitch and you live here. You're never going to use it. I was like, yeah, you're right. But I tried my best, and truthfully, especially lately with what's been going on, I really think that at some point I will go back to Maine and bring this to the kids there. They do. They need it. And since I've been gone, like I don't know names, I don't know details, but I am always thrilled when I see clips. My mom will send me from the newspaper or like on Facebook or something. There's a lot of talent up there, and they're starting to come out with it. There's a boy. He's a young man now, but I do know my friends Matthew and Carrie Foley have a son who's very gifted musically, and he is going forward with it, and that's exciting. And there's a film company up there now too. I don't know what kind of films they're making. I think they're kind of like grassroots indie kind of thing,
Okay.
but it's exciting, and I would really like to, at some point, go up
Go
there.
back there. Yeah. See the
not?
talent sprouting. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
show them that the connections are actually possible.
Okay.
I don't think that anybody up there when I was growing up thought I would ever actually get to New York.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, I can take you. Come on, get in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why not?
Yes.
You know?
Finding your niche has been really something. The Jennifer of 20 years ago versus the Jennifer of today.
Yeah.
What's different? More confidence, less confidence?
Oh, much more confident.
Much more confidence?
Oh, yeah.
How's being a woman impacted you?
Greatly, I feel.
In the theater, the world of theater, acting?
Well, I mean, it's just been so different for me than it has been for, I don't know, like my husband, for instance. Like, let's just say, we both have college degrees.
Yeah.
We both have 2 children.
Yeah.
We both had work, but it was just, and no offense to him, I naturally went this way too. I had the children, everything else went away. You know what I mean? And it was just up to him to make the money and keep the benefits. And then I had to figure out how to raise these kids and, make it in the world and figure out how to contribute, not just financially, but for me, I've always had this like independent spirit. I love my children. They know I do. But I don't want to be with them 24/7. No, I never wanted that. So I actually 20 years ago, I went to school for massage therapy. So I'm still a licensed massage therapist. I'm a Reiki master. And so that worked well as a mom because I could schedule and see my clients, on the nights and evenings or something when my husband would come home. And I could take as many clients or as few clients as I felt like. So that was nice. And it was a way to meet people and get out there and feel like myself again. And,
What frustrates you?
I mean, I want to do it all.
Not enough hours in a day?
No, and just not enough of me to go around. And also the fact that is my kryptonite. Like in my past, I've loved to say yes to everything. And then inevitably I experienced burnout because nobody can do it all. Like you really can't. So that's been beneficial to experience that and finally learn the word no and prioritize my time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been good. But even as a child, I mean, I don't know, he might disagree, but my dad had a double standard when it came to my brother and I. And
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Uh-oh, Dad.
It's true. I had my license a full year before my brother had, and I did not get a car. We got a car once my brother also got his license.
Oh, boy.
And he was known in the family to be the better driver. And I say, well, that's just because you let him drive more. But whatever. It's always been something I've been aware of.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's impacted me, but also I've always been that person that's just like, well, use what you got. Let's go. How are we going to get it done? Yeah.
You just moved to another chapter in your life.
Yes.
Last weekend. What happened?
I directed my very first play.
All right.
And not just any play.
All right.
Not children's play, a play starring children.
Okay.
And it was it was this beautiful, heartwarming, funny, touching slice of life play by Charlene Donaghy, who is local. She lives in Torrington.
Yeah.
She started the Warner Playwright Festival.
Okay.
And she came every night to my play, sat in the front row every night. We're friends now. I love her. But so this story was based on some truths about how her parents met in 1945. And it was called Joni and Freddie on Valentine's Day. And it takes place, again, in 1945 in the winter on a snowy path. And Freddie pushes Joni into a snowbank, and that's really something that happened to her parents. Her father really pushed her mother into a snowbank. And then, an angry little fight ensues that, she's like, get me out of this snowbank. And he finally helps her. And then an anger climax happens, and then they come together, and it comes out that her parents are getting divorced. And it really did happen to Joni's mother. And it was not very often heard of in 1945. And so it's just really sweet how they, he helps her and they get together and had a long marriage. I think she either said 55 or 65 years they were married before her mother passed.
How many people were in the play?
Just two.
Just two?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. And I just loved it. I feel like it's the best thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah. It was crazy. It's like, I didn't even really know the first, when we came together for the first read through, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And we came together, we read through it, and I looked at them, and I knew when we were sitting at a table in the library, I'm like, this is a hit. I knew it. I just knew it, and everything got better from there. And they're kids, and they love to play, but they're also kids who listen. I was like, whoa, and they love theater, and they loved their characters, and they had very supportive parents, which it was great. It was just so great.
Wow, the stars got in line, huh?
They really, really did. And it just fortified that dream I've had for so long, which I really want to have a children's theater.
You do?
That's what I really, really want. And I couldn't have known without, like my husband, coming this crazy
zigzaggy path. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about opening night.
Oh, it was so exciting. And that crowd, woo, they were on fire, and they were roaring, and they were laughing. And, my only note to the kids when they came off the stage was like, oh, wow, I forgot to tell you, people might laugh. You need to hold your line for laughter,
Mm-hmm.
Because
timing. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We didn't know it was as funny as the crowd thought it was. And then each crowd, each night was a little different.
Yes.
So we never got that much laughter again, but we had about 600 people see the show.
Whoa.
Yeah. Over the weekend.
It's not bad.
It's really not bad. Because we also, we had the curtains pulled in for most of the plays, so we tried not to seat anyone on those sides.
Yes.
So, because of that, we were basically sold out if you think about just those middle seats. So
wow.
It was awesome.
Got more plans to direct?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. So, I mean, but we'll see what comes down the pike. We have Playhouse 44 has like a troubadour night coming on September 12th. Which,
tell the audience what that is.
Well, so I'm not directly involved with that, but I'm obviously a supporter of Playhouse 44. Local songwriters and singers will come together. It will be at Raymore and Flanagan here in Avon.
Yeah.
And they'll sing and play, have some hors d'oeuvres and things like that. I think. If not, you better, because now it's on TV and you have to. And then we are going to come all back together and start to plan our season, talk about what we'd all want. And I'm hoping there's some kid stuff in there, and I'll get to direct. I'll audition too if I find a role that I like. And breaking news, I was just cast in the Simsbury Theater Guild in Legally Blonde the musical.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
I've never actually been in a musical. I don't know if I told them that, so maybe I shouldn't have said that now. But I was cast as Elle's mom, H&H sales girl, and dance ensemble.
All right. Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Little secret for the audience. Jennifer and I met actually through a performance at our church, the Witch Trials, the Salem Witch Trials. And I can assure you, she's a fabulous actress.
Thank you.
You know, I was watching, I was the narrator of the proceedings, and I got to see all of the actors and actresses, and she's fabulous. And I'm just happy she's my friend, and I'm happy that she agreed to come here and do this today to talk to you and tell you, and you are searching for your niche out there. It's out there. Keep looking for it. And don't feel because you're different, you're wrong. You're not. You were born to be what you are. Be what you are. Embrace it. And those who don't understand, move on down the road. That's what you do. Don't let people stop you from attaining your dream. Do you have anything you want to say to our audience as we wrap up your interview about finding your niche, about being a woman? Young girls are watching this. You know,
be proud, be you. You don't have to be like anyone else. And that being said, we all have role models. Make sure your role models are for the right reasons. And just keep going. We all have bad days, but then there's tomorrow. And inevitably,
the sun will come out.
The sun will come out. And if you're having the worst day ever today, then good for you, because it's the worst day ever. Tomorrow's got to be better. So you just keep going. And if you start to think about accepting and being thankful for the controversy in your life and the things that aren't so pleasant, because they're going to help you appreciate the good things in your life more, it gets a little easier. Just keep breathing, you know, go out. This is my biggest thing, actually.
Yep.
This is what I learned as a massage therapist.
Okay.
When I'm hurting the most, I go out and help someone else. And I automatically feel better, and so do they. So go do that. See what you learn. See what you find.
When you're hurting the most, go help somebody else.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That is really something. Listen, I can't tell you how happy I am that you came to share your story with us here at What's Your Story. And I wish you all success in what you do. I'm glad that I've gotten to know you. My life has been improved because of that. All right.
Same.
Thank you, Jennifer Valentine. I hope that you get a chance to watch both episodes. You'll get to meet a very fabulous person. I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. The show is called What's Your Story? Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time, good night.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.
I'm your host, Kurt Barwis. Today, I have a very special guest, Dr. Andrew Lin.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name is Chuck Wooden.
Decision for ourselves for this week, if we want to be made well.
Hi, welcome to the crack of dawn. It's Dawn Lombardi. I'm starting the painting. It's going to be the clips with some water. Love it.
He took me on the sets of Lost in Space, Batman.
Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time.